Hey guys, today is August 9th, 2022. So this video is like an add-on to a recent video that I made talking about decodes that heavily favored the date August 11th coming up in a couple days. Also second August 10th, but I focus a little more on August 11th. So I'm going to show you a couple other things that I discovered from My Pet Goat 2 that nobody has ever talked about, and it relates to the date August 11th. So if you want to see the other decodes I made for that date, you'll have to see my other video because I'm not going to go over everything that I talked about. But I just want to recap one thing because it's something new and it's something, again, nobody else has talked about that I've ever seen. And it's concerning this right here. You might have heard that this represents the buck moon because you have the buck over top here and it's circular. All the other ones are oval. Obviously they represent heads and bodies, but nobody has ever talked about why beneath it, why it's not a human body. It's actually like a fish body because it represents a different full moon, an event not only that's going to happen on a buck moon, the first full moon in July, but the sturgeon moon, which is a fish. This has a fish body, like the sturgeon right here. See the tail, the long tail, how it splits at the end? It's very similar to that, and it has a shark-like fin on here, right there. So this represents the buck and the sturgeon moon. And I also find it interesting that right here, this represents Trump, and he's leaning over very close to what would be the sturgeon moon. And I'm wondering also if something's going to happen on August 11th, the sturgeon moon, concerning Trump, because there is a 322 connection to his birth date. He was born on June 14th, 1946. August 11th. And this is something that I mentioned many times before. To see the connection, you have to reverse the date sometime. You have to put the 811 over here and 614. And now you're left with 27,701 days. And this is equal to the 3,022nd prime. So I'm wondering if something is going to happen concerning Trump because of what happened to his home in Mar-a-Lago being raided. But I also think something else totally different might happen as well. And so I want to show you this first. I have this playing at half speed so you can clearly hear the word August. August, you can clearly hear that, right? And I didn't discover this. I believe Julian T did, or he did, or another YouTuber. I'm not exactly sure, but see, when he starts saying August, they're focusing in on the hangman. Well, that's when Jeffrey Epstein died. He died on August 10th, 2019. And I believe that his death date, him being hung, represents this, and it's a marker point to an event. See, right here is the pick. Okay. So, I looked because I know I got a better understanding of how they do decodes. Things I've talked about before. The other side of the classroom is the 322 in the lady's hair, or 223. And Bush was over on the other side that I showed you. And 223 days after he was born was Valentine's Day, and that was the Valentine's Day shooting. And 223 weeks later was 322 days after Bush was born, and that was 223 on the Jewish calendar, and that was the Uvalde school shooting. Two of the worst mass school shootings in U.S. history. And that was part of the decode. There's more that I could show you that I've already talked about, but I'm not going to go over that again. And I also said in my last, not my last video, but the one that I mentioned talking about August 11th, how this represented the flower moon eclipse on May 15th, May 16th, and how this, the letters LC, could be 123 because it's the 12th letter, third letter upside down, it's C7 or 37. So you're going to look at numbers like 37, 123, 12 months, 3 days, 12 weeks, 3 days, which is August 11th, August 10th, after this flower moon eclipse. So that was another decode that I talked about relating to that. And so I know how they do things. So we have Jeffrey Epstein, his death of being hung as a marker point. And now look at this, what I just discovered. So you have this above him, above the hangman. You have it could be a missile, right? So this looks like the number 3 and also 1. Or it could be 311. I decided to look up, okay, 3 months, 1 day after Jeffrey Epstein was hung. Here's what I found. Australia bushfires, state of emergency along the eastern coast as it prepares for catastrophic conditions. So it says authorities in Australia's Queensland and New South Wales states that on Monday declared a state of emergency for catastrophic fires. So it says that over the weekend it killed 3 people and destroyed more than 150 homes. Australia bushfires. So, now look, 3 months, 1 day after Jeffrey Epstein was found hung, you had Australian bush fires destroying 150 homes. That is the decode for that event. This is multi-layered too. It could mean something else. But now, what is August 11th? Well, it's 3 years, 1 day after Jeffrey Epstein was hung. See, he was hung on August 10th, 2019. And just to show you again, 3 years, 1 day. That is the decode. And there's something else, because I showed you guys, again, he's saying August. See, he begins saying August when they focus in on the hangman. Then as he finishes the word August, they go to here. Well, he says it while he's holding one finger. And this is almost like a reflection of his finger. But look it. He says August, and this could be August 11th. August 11th. I also believe it's double meaning. But, oh yeah, it's the 223rd day of the year. So that's why they have Bush saying this, doing this decode with Bush, because Bush represents the number of skull and bones, 322. It's the 223rd day of the year. It all fits. August 11th. So what I think this could be, so the other decode related to the house is catching on fire, the bushfires. This decode might relate to the shark in the missile, because August 11th, it makes up part of the 11 makes up part of the missile. And there's a Russian submarine class. Let me show you. There's 2 names for it: the Typhoon class submarine, or they call it Project 941 Akula. Akula meaning shark. Project 941 are a set of shark submarines. But something else. it said that the Russian Navy canceled its Typhoon modernization program in March 2012. It said Dmitry Donsky, which was armed with the more modern RSM 56 Bolivar, whatever that is. According to one source, it remained in service until July 2022 when it was reported decommissioned. So that means they wouldn't have any more because it said it was decommissioned. But look at what it says. However, other sources suggested that she remained operational and that a final decision on her fate would not be taken until the end of 2022. So they said it was decommissioned, but other sources are saying it's still operational. I find that interesting because when you look at the submarine right here in Wikipedia, it says decommissioned July 20th, 2022, and it's got a question mark. So, is this a decode related to a missile coming from the submarine? And this submarine can carry nuclear ballistic missiles. So is this decode that I made with the hangman, this missile connecting to the shark, have to do with that submarine? What was it called again? Dmitry Donsky, which is part of the Akula class, the Shark submarines, connected to all this. I might have made this decode for August 11th. We'll find out. Okay, guys, we'll see what happens. I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.